Thank y'all for being here on the CBLOL unofficial English broadcast. I am 4x4. My color cast today is Hawk. Will be here for this game and the next one, which will be, I believe, yeah, you know what? That's not quite as important right now. I talked myself into a hole. There we go. Kaboom and Furia. That one actually will be really interesting. Again, just the theme of the day has been middle of the pack teams, or at least teams with middle of the pack records, kind of do or die right now. Early in the season, it feels as high stakes as 2 games or 2 weeks into the season can feel, because there are a lot of teams in the middle of the pack, and you can create just such a tremendous advantage for yourself by sneaking a win. I mean, 3-2 just feels phenomenal for Liberty. You would push VivoCade down to 1-4 down there with Fluxu. Whereas if you are down at 1-4, you are going to feel really, really bad, because the ground is so easy to make up because the middle of the pack is so congested. Some trades going off here early on as VivoCade do get a ward down thanks to Hugato.
VivoCade, as you said, getting that ward, it feels pretty good to get one down. However, Liberty, they do trade it back. And the big thing that we're looking at in this early game is going to be this bottom side of the map. Can VivoCade get Hugato down to the bottom side of the map, maybe bringing Grevthar as well if the Victor after Hexcore is able to get some priority in this lane? Because we set it up in the draft. Macau needs to be the big damage dealer in this mid game, because while Victor will do a lot of damage, it's not going to be enough to solo carry against this Liberty composition.
Doing all right in the early goings here, though. Grevthar, I think Piloto blew through all 3 charges of Piloto's. I guess no, he didn't go corrupting pod, excuse me. He just had the 1 health pod. But Grevthar applying so much pressure, like an EMT onto a wound that won't stop bleeding, just suffocating Piloto right now in the early going.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see. If you're a VivoCade fan, you're going to be able to get a nice 3-wave crash after this cannon wave arrives and really start to apply pressure onto the map. Grevthar having an excellent early laning phase, and we do see Hugato going down to the bottom side as well, actually skipping the Raptors just to get there even faster and avoid any potential invade shenanigans from AC with that bot push that Liberty has as well. And Liberty, they're looking to survive in this early game. They've also got a pretty good scaling composition, lots of mid-game from them as well, with the Orianna, the Jhin, the Jax, and we highlighted in the draft the Jax, Chiari, the player that we're really looking at in this lane up against Guigo, because Cassante is a good matchup into the Jax. It is able to neutralize extremely well. It's able to apply pressure. We can see Guigo getting a lot of damage down onto Chiari early on, but Jax will scale into it. It's really just a matter of how far behind do you fall and how much can you pick up with the rest of your team. So I want to see Chiari perform well in this lane, not die to this potential gank that Hugato is putting down, and good ward will spot that one out and become that big late game demon Jax that we've all seen before.
And he's going to get, he's got a couple kind of a quasi enchanter buddies, right? To go in with him, right? AC is your go button, sure, but you've got a lot that you can throw on top. You've got the shield and the shockwave from Piloto. You've got Cavallo, can throw down damage, speed you up, get your shielding down as well. But Jax, he's the one that your eyes go to. Absolutely. And I haven't seen it. I didn't think I would go this long in my casting career without casting an Orianna game, but I'm like, the ult is called Shockwave, right? Like, I think, right? That's what it was called last time.
Yeah, it is. You would be right about that one. But Macau and Bounty, a lot of pressure being applied to them. Remember, this was the lane we were looking to see VivoCade do well in, and AC might have a potential dive angle. It just completes the back, though, and with the push that the Jhin Karma is able to put down, we wanted to see this Lucian Nami get unlocked, so they're going to have to pick their moments on resets to really look for good fights. Especially, I'm looking at around this dragon will be a place where they might be able to make plays. No cleanse on a Juliera for any sort of Sejuani ult does mean that you have an engaged target in the early game if you are VivoCade. So Macau and Bounty, again, looking for the moments that they can get out on the map, because they're going to be few and far between with the pressure that Karma can apply to this lane.
Macau actually maybe on the business end of a tether, but we'll walk away from that. So far, so good.
Freeze,
the vision throw down there by AC. Yeah, and the freeze coming up here is going to feel pretty good.
Liberty just has so much control on the bottom side of the map. Look at all those red wards. Hugato operating in full vision. Liberty with the freeze, they're going to be able to sit back. There's no threat whatsoever. And again, it's about Macau and Bounty needing to pick their moments to get involved. This is how you prevent that. By getting deep vision early on as AC and not allowing any plays to come down and allowing your Jhin Karma just to push for free. So really nicely done. Now, meanwhile, on the top side, Kiari is doing decently into this. Kazante is down just a little bit of CS, so it's not looking amazing for Vivo Cade so far. I really like Liberty's early game, or rather, Liberty Game's early game setup. Maybe this is the opportunity for Hugato to make something happen.
Took a good path kind of through the north quadrant of the jungle and around. He got spotted out by a ward the last time he tried to go through the river. That ward isn't there anymore, but Hugato doesn't know that.
Kiari's playing very respectfully right now, but
yeah, he's taking the scenic route there. Gigo going all out here. Kiari popping the Grandmaster at arms, flashing away. Does burn ult, does burn flash, but Gigo burns his ult as well. A little bit of a pressure relief gank there from the Vivo Cade Stars jungler.
But it is a nice gank because they get the flash and they force Kiari to back with no TP against this freeze. So Guigo going to be able to grow the CS lead, going to be able to take advantage of this counter matchup that he was given, which is what Vivo Cade needed because Liberty on the bottom side continuing to exert their own pressure by taking the dragon and having a bit of a CS lead themselves. Juliera actually rushing the plated steel caps, or should I go with the antiquated term that we talked about last game, Ninja Tabbies, just to survive this lane, because it seems Liberty knows they've just got to scale up into these mid-game skirmishes, into these mid-game team fights to contest against Vivo Cade and keep this Lucian down.
Wow, yeah, rushing the whatever you want to call them. This is not what you usually see. You might see a Swifties rush out of Jhin, right? His kit rewards, there we go, incentivizes, there we go, that's the word I was looking for, movement speed, and that's why you see Swifties built on Jhin. It's just not just because he likes to go faster Sonic X, but it's because he actually gets value out of it, reloads a little quicker, etc. But yeah, just surviving this lane, because yeah, Macau and Bounty, we talked about it, they need to get stuff done, and just playing purely defensively, grab it, man. Yeah, this is a worry about me later build for Juliera, which look, into the lane, just kind of neutralizing things, okay, I suppose, right? But you do worry about the Jhin pick and its effectiveness later into the game. But I suppose if it does its job in lane, then because the rest of the composition around it for Liberty is so potent, you worry about it a little less.
It does feel like Liberty's identified what we've identified. You just need to win bot lane to sort of keep this Vivo Cade composition down because of the lack of damage that they might have later on. But with Herald spawning in a few seconds, I'm really looking at Liberty to try to use their bot push to contest this one. Because if they're able to bring that Herald down to look to crack open this bottom lane turret, that could really be the advantage they're looking for. So far, they've had a pressure lead, but looking at the CS, right, gold-wise, it's pretty even. So the Herald could be that sort of advantage that you're looking for. Meanwhile, though, Vivo Cade, if you're looking to bail Macau and Bounty out and create a play for them, it could also be a good situation. We saw Hugato lingering in the area, and AC maybe just gonna look to trade back with a bot lane dive as Macau is alone under the tower. Here they go.
Yeah, and Bounty roamed up here. Cavallo took a lot of damage. Deadly Flourish not going to find its mark, but there goes the curtain call. Again, the wave is crashing and just nailing every single one. They couldn't have made it easier for AC. First blood for Liberty.
Why contest the Herald when you can just put bot behind now? Such a beautiful cross map from Liberty off the get. Now, Kiari could be at threat on the other side of the map, but does manage to get the wave in, and Liberty looking amazing in this early game.
AC, man, he's looked good. He's looked really, really good in this early game. There's so many other things that we want to talk about because genuinely, I think deservedly so, these compositions have a lot of moving pieces and a lot of kind of, if-then statements to be completed, right? You say, well, if this lane gets ahead, then this will happen, but the rest of the composition does this, X, Y, and Z, so it might not matter, blah, blah, blah. But AC, in this early game, he has been him. He has been doing really, really well. Macau left alone here, like you said, Hawk, and this is where it all starts. And Juliera just kind of says, I could just do it myself, maybe.
Right, and I do think Macau does make one big mistake, which is flashing after the tether had already been broken. I don't think he was at threat of dying when he flashed, and it meant that that one wasn't available for the curtain call. With that being said, I think he was dead anyway, but maybe
Yeah.
could have burned a little bit more off of Liberty with that one up and available. But it just truly is such a beautiful cross map because, again, Liberty has identified Macau as the big mid-game threat. So if you shut him down, you shut down the Vivo Cade mid-game.
And then if you do that, the onus goes to the Liberty mid-game. And this is sometimes what we see young teams falter on. The mechanics are good. They play fearlessly. But the mid-game transitioning any sort of advantage that they can get, that could be where they falter. AC,
Right.
go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I can say, but I say you can now see Hugato with the Herald, realizing that he needs to start to bail out this bottom side of the map and get some gold into Macau's pockets. No longer playing towards Chiari, but now Chiari's flash just gonna come back up unpunished. So even though again Chiari down a little bit of CS, Liberty's lane that needs to scale is looking pretty nice. And they're winning in the lane that doesn't. So it's a good situation. The Herald is going to get dropped. We are seeing fights on multiple sides potentially.
Ooh. Yeah, here we go. And Grefthar and Piloto, they're jockeying in the river. So that Herald Crash is going to get some value. They got something out of it, but everyone and their mother is focused on the bot lane. Chiari, if that comes through a little earlier, again, you talked about it. The flash came back up unpunished. My goodness. And just in time, it came back up, and Chiari is able to survive that from Gigo.
Yeah, nicely done from Chiari to be able to survive, however. Now with Dragon on the map in about 10 seconds, we're seeing both teams posture around it now. Critically, Liberty, not only have they been winning on the bottom side, that meant they've gotten the Dragon, which does mean that they don't have to contest into this Lucian Nami Sejuani should they not want to. But with the lead that they have, maybe they want to go anyway. AC has the cease and desist online should he want to pull the trigger. Both teams deciding to play on bot wave. Grefthar is moving first in the river, so we'll have to keep our eyes on these mid laners should something start.
He's got his Black Cleaver as well, does AC. First one to that big spike as far as champions that are going to be able to impact things down here. Gigo's already got his Frozen Fist, but before 14 minutes, top laners, well, guess what? They're just kind of going to stay there.
Yeah, top lane doesn't really exist, unfortunately. Top lane in Season 13 experience, but I love the Black Caliber first from AC. I know a lot of times we see like the chain sword into the Radiant Virtue, but AC opting for the Cleaver, identifying that there are multiple tanks on Vivo Cade. I think this is very smart itemization, and it does mean that with that item advantage, it's going to be Liberty taking another dragon. So the win conditions for Vivo Cade slowly dwindling, the ability to fight for dragons slowly dwindling because of the early advantage Liberty has been able to get. And now as we go into this mid game, Chiari scaling up beautifully. Liberty, they've got item spikes coming online. And we said it in the draft, more tools in the toolkit, if you will, in this composition. Well, by not falling behind, they're in a pretty good spot to exercise those tools.
Yeah, the gold lead is still even, but Liberty have created advantages for themselves. All right, Gigo, yeah, he's up 20 CS right now on Chiari. That's not nothing. Liberty on the side, or AC on the side of Liberty, excuse me, though, he's up a fair chunk of change. Black Cleaver got some buffs, just straight up. I think 50 health, 5 ability haste was 50 health, 5 ability haste, and no change in the gold. So that's gonna feel, or AD. Excuse me. Yeah, 50 AD now. It's up from 45, and health increased to 400 from 350. So that's going to give you a little bit more oomph. If you are AC, like you said, identifying that, yeah, I've got to chew through Gato and Gigo. That was something else we talked about in draft. But if I can lower their armor, then Juliera is going to have an easier time. Chiari with each auto is just going to wham, bam, 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 bam. It's going to feel really, really good. That turret gold kind of keeping Vivo Cade in this. Right? No, that's not true. That's not what's keeping them in it, but that's something they have in their pockets. Liberty, though, really on the back of AC in his phenomenal early game, they do feel like they're much more in control here. 2 dragons, no towers, but things going all right all over the map for them.
As the game sort of slows down here, in sort of this middle portion of the game where lots of resetting coming through, well, maybe a fight in top lane as Guigo is going to pull the trigger with the ult.
Yeah, he goes all out. Kind of uses that defensively, just inching himself closer to his own tower, daring Chiari to go in. Chiari did pop the ultimate. in case that fight
Right.
carried on.
Not too much. Not too much
No.
happening. Guigo just has a little fun, takes Kiari for a ride. But as the game slows down, I want to remind everyone, this Liberty roster, starting 2-0, the roster of kids, I mean, it's entirely players that have no more than a full year of competitive experience at the highest level of CBLOL. And this is a team, again, starting 2-0, they looked really good, and people were sort of getting a little hype about this team. But then, akin to CLG, as you said, fell down. So up against Vivo Cade, a team towards the bottom of the standings, people want to see them show up once again, and they're pulling the trigger now as AC forced to kite back.
Forced to kite back and not far back enough. Trading a kill back, though, is Kiari. Curtain call, not really going to find a whole lot. Juliera, not quite close enough. Start dealing significant damage. The Deadly Flourish, not going to find the root because the previous damage wasn't there. Liberty forced to back off this one. Now Vivo Cade Stars able to grab themselves the Herald, but the wave crashing in mid. Everything else kind of frozen here. Kiari, he's hungry. He's level 11. He wants the smoke. There goes the damage. Piloto doesn't have Shockwave, but he might not need it. That is a good amount of damage coming through there. I said they were going to get the Herald or Vivo Cade, but that was not a foregone conclusion at all. Liberty getting a lot done here on the retake.
Liberty so nicely done, as you said. Kiari just finding out Grevthar, mispositioning perhaps from the Victor, and the Deadly Flourish to follow up. That's the single target utility lockdown of the Jhin. We can see this one again. Liberty intelligently opting to push out the mid wave first both times, which means Vivo Cade is dropping minions to tunnel vision onto this fight, which while that can work, that means you have to be quick on the objective. Unfortunately, they just weren't quick enough, and as the re-engage comes through, Liberty comes out ahead. Now, gold is pretty even, but with the objective advantage that Liberty does have, the situation in this game is pretty favorable for them.
Yeah, they're feeling really, really nice. Like you said, their composition scales decently, right? And you've got the gold in the pocket of Kiari right now. AC got himself some boots now. Gonna feel a little bit better. Juliera is on one item, and the mythics are starting to come through for everybody else. There goes that Herald, and this is where they can start to really break things open. Kiari, yeah, and he got that kill onto Gigo in that skirmish around the river, but that is just the first tower of the game taken here, and what has been admittedly a pretty slow game. It's not like things haven't been going on, but it hasn't quite been that explosive. No gigantic leads generated through one lane or another.
If you
hold
want
that
explosive,
thought.
though,
Yeah, I was going to say, Juliera popped the Ghost Blade.
But it's, again, Liberty, look at this. They're controlling the river better than Vivo Cade. Vivo Cade completely dropping mid-wave to group up their team. Kiari, though, you can see he's still behind on Guigo.
Yeah, he is in a lot of trouble here. Low health, low mana, a couple autos, not going to do it because Cassante went all out. And now with the advantage there, Gigo can join this fight. Again, we're after 14 minutes. The teleports are in fact unleashed. He's going to take a base and then probably jump into this fight. But there goes, going to start without him. Vivo Cade able to grab the first kill as AC goes down. They're looking for another. The curtain call was popped, but immediately abandoned by Juliera. Gigo, maybe he had it in there onto Juliera and Cavallo, but didn't have the ultimate, so didn't want to go all out, but got the shutdown there onto Piloto, who was out of position. Vivo Cade take advantage of sloppy positioning there from Liberty.
Well, the new kids on the block make a huge mistake. Kiari just died in a side lane while Guigo has TP. Why are we diving in? Not only that, Liberty, you have a mid-wave. Just play on the wave, my friends. A huge, huge blunder out of the new kids.
The mid game, it makes men out of boys and vice versa. It is a very, very humbling part of League of Legends.
Truly.
Any half-decent team can, half-decent players can learn matchups and dominate lane. Half-decent teams can team fight front to back. But managing the mid-game, managing your teleports, playing around certain things, it all starts and ends right here in this instance for Vivo Cade. And then, yeah, it just all goes pear-shaped.
And you could see the start, which is that solo kill from Guigo onto Kiari. Jax getting a kill, getting a tower, getting a lot of gold is good, but doesn't quite have the oomph to get through this Cassante. And in the 4v5, I mean, just an ill-advised engage from Liberty. I have no idea what the plan was right there, and clearly it goes punished. 3 quick kills to Vivocade. They're able to now get control over this mid wave, forcing out the flash from Juliera as well. AC, though, going to try to counter back.
There goes the cease and desist. The flash is going to take him right into tower range. Pretty good lineup there for Juliera with the curtain call. He gets one. Mops up Mikau. That is big. That's why you draft the Vi onto those slippery 80 carries. They get one. What can they do with this? I don't know if it's much, Hawk.
But it breaks up the tempo of the game. Vivocade, they were starting to take a bit of control, and Liberty, they rest some back. Now, tower will fall in response, but they have numbers committed towards mid, and this mid tier 1 is about half HP. Without Mikau alive, I think this will end up dropping, and this will start to open up the map in Liberty's favor. So this game starting to explode just a little bit as we crest the 20-minute mark. Gold is still incredibly even, but again, I am looking at the objectives being slightly in favor of Liberty, not to mention that scaling that we have mentioned. While it isn't amazing, I do still look at the tools that they have. And again, Chiari in the side lane has not scaled yet, but is slowly but surely getting there. Now, Guigo, pretty fed. He's got the most gold in the game by a pretty significant margin, but you can see Chiari is lingering there in sort of the top end of the gold graph.
And speaking of lingering, something that we haven't talked about much, we kind of mentioned in the beginning of the game, and I think it's about time to maybe pick up on this thread. Grefthar. We talked about the Victor
True.
and how he can have an impact maybe later into the game, right? He's not going to be your primary damage carry, and I think still things are looking kind of shaky for Vivocade because of the lack of impact early from Mikau's Lucian. That didn't go the way they wanted to, but you've got 2 frontline tanks, and you've got a big source of AP damage with some decent range. But AC, with his cease and desist, is going to try to change that. But Grefthar, look for him to start to creep into the picture. And Chiari, he's got to manage himself better in the side lane. He's going to ward hop out, and that is going to be what bails him out.
And the tower ends up still going down. Now a pick onto Grefthar. Nice shot there from Juliera to pick that one up. Liberty, they cross map better, and now with the mid laner down, do they want to fade to Baron? Only 22 minutes into the game. I think it's too risky. They don't quite have the damage to do it, but that's the big carry that you were sort of pointing out. Mikau, the hero in draft, not able to be the mid-game carry. Now we look towards late game, and Grefthar gets picked off.
Yeah, and that was gutsy there by AC, right? I mean, saw that, look, Chiari, maybe he will or won't get picked off and die in this side lane, but the fact of the matter is, we've got a numbers advantage somewhere else. That's what that means, right? It's like a double team. In traditional sports, oh, you hate a double team, but what it always does is leave the guy open, and they took advantage of that.
Now, Dragon spawning in about a minute, and I have a sneaking suspicion that both these teams are going to want to fight for it, but critically, Grefthar, not only did he die, blew the flash as well. So there's a very clear engaged target for Liberty. And it is a Cloud Soul, so maybe not the most desirable. But I will say, if we are sort of looking at these teams being very positional based with the control mages on both sides, pick tools on the side of both teams as well, the movement speed could be very influential and sort of how these fights do play out. So if I am one of these teams, I am wanting to contest for the soul, but importantly, there's a purple worm on the map as well, so we don't want to give over a Baron for it.
Yeah, neither one of these teams in a fantastic spot as far as damage to be able to melt said purple worm, like we kind of alluded to earlier.
No.
But
Baron rush threat is pretty low, but, you know, need to be aware of it, but I agree. Pretty low damage on the Baron.
But look, if you can 5-0 wipe somebody around Dragon, you buy yourself all the time in the world that you need, assuming that, they don't take 4 back. Now the TP's coming back here. Chiari will join the fight. Got himself a stopwatch. Jax can do mixed damage. He benefits from both AP sources. I think it really is more about the stasis than anything else. With Jax, it's very potent. Now Liberty going to posture around the Baron. Cavallo
Liberty's doing a really smart thing right now. They know that they don't have the front line to face check into Vivocade's composition. So what do? You threaten the scarier objective and force Liberty to face check into you. That way you can set up a pick with AC on the side.
AC in there on the side, like you said, and makes it 2 kills off the rip from Chiari. That could not have gone better. You said it, Hawk. We don't want to go into you. How about you come to us?
What a beautiful Baron bait from Liberty right there. AC, not even in the pit. They were always going to turn. Vivocade, they take the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and both carries get blown away.
Vivocade will get a dragon back to make it 2-2. But that is a moral victory if I've ever seen one. A silver medal hangs heavy on the necks of Vivocade right now as the gold lead was pretty even until that point, Hawk. And now a cheeky, almost 2,000 gold just off the start of this Baron power play. They're going to get a lot else done from it. Kiari going to grab himself yet another tower as the gold lead continues to balloon. Look at AC, my man.
Yeah, AC just comes in on the side, finds that flashless Grevthar, as we pointed it out, and Kiari in the backside of the fight as well. Macau, not fast enough on the reaction time with the flash. Grevthar didn't have it. Both carries get one shot and taken down. Truly just a beautiful engage. And now we can see Liberty. They're just going to play on 2 lanes. They've already got both outer towers in top, so they can have 4 members mid, let Kiari sit in bot, and just threaten with these quick rotations to these towers. Let these Baron minions plink away at the health bars and do their job. And Vivocade, this Victor, while he's got great wave clear against the Baron up minions, it's going to be difficult.
And AC still has the cease and desist, just by the by. I think that was, did he engage with a Vault Breaker, or is that right back off cooldown?
I do believe it is off cooldown by this point from the previous fight. Kiari getting engaged on.
Oh boy, yeah, he's getting jumped on. If he can get that counter strike off. No, the stun went up, but it still will not be enough. Shutdown for Gigo. Man, did he need that. A very, very close 1v1. And now AC, seeing that they've got numbers disadvantage, he says, all right, we'll take the 4v4. Let's see what we can get done. Curtain call goes out. AC stayed alive for a while, flashing away. Hugato almost goes down for the troubles of Liberty, but they get one right back. And now it's 5-on-3. And that extra teammate for Liberty is that Baron push, but that's kind of all they're going to get. They fluffed it a little bit.
Oh, I can see what Kiari was going for. Feeling strong, 2.5 items. Like, I'm a Jackson a side lane. Fight me a little bit. But taking one too many tower shots, unfortunately, and that is really going to end this Baron push for Liberty. So they do at least get the mid-tier 2 off the back of that play, but Liberty, stop engaging while your top laner's dead. It hasn't worked either time. It's like desperation in the comms, you'd have to think. And now that Baron power play down to just 1,700 gold. A huge backbreaker to the momentum in this game. Now, Liberty, they're definitely still ahead, but that is going to slow this one back down.
Yeah, it feels like a missed opportunity, if nothing else, right? You think, what could they have gotten more out of this? Maybe it wouldn't have been anything more, to be fair. Maybe they didn't have the firepower to get anything additional out of that. After all, like you said, they did get a mid-tier 2, so that feels all right still. But gave a couple of free kills there over to Vivocade, and they're still very much within striking distance with a little bit of an easier to execute composition here with 2 frontliners. Gigo shown that he can hold his own. And it's a shame because as the Glacial Prison goes out there, AC almost getting CC chained. Zugato throws up the Red Canids emote in homage to 2 of his teammates, Gigo and Grevthar, former Red Canid starters, getting supplanted as the new look Red Canids flying. So clearly doing A-okay without them. But it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. If Vivocade stars can come back in this one, you wonder if we look back at that moment as the backbreaker. Kiari, man, this dude needs a redemption right now. And I'm not talking about the item. He's having that 1v1 with Gigo, but he's going to get some help. Gigo just trying to take someone down with him. CC chain looking good. Gigo got a big old shield from the Gargoyle Stone Plate. Trying to take Cavallo down with him, switching targets onto a squishier one. Going to get nothing out of it. Shutdown for AC.
And now 4v5 on the map, Liberty. They've got members committed to the bottom side. Now, Vivocade, they have learned from some of their mid-game mistakes, committing way more onto this mid-wave to make these rotations more difficult for Liberty and apply pressure to sides of the map. But Liberty, they get creative with the nice flank from Kiari and find a pick. Nicely done from Liberty. And they're finally going to get this bot tier 2 as well that they wanted with the Baron.
That finally goes down. Kiari going to grab his 3rd item. That Frozen Heart's going to feel really, really nice in those 1v1s against Gigo. And with that dragon coming up here, you like to think that Liberty and all the vision that they have invested, again, AC is just variations on a theme here. Deep vision, granted to his team by the rookie Liberty juggler. This is a guy that was pretty hyped up coming out of the Liberty Academy, or rather the Pain Gaming Academy, I believe, as he came up there with Juliera, a championship Pain Gaming squad. Two of the most hyped prospects really holding their own here. And just it's the good kind of mistakes that you want to see from rookies, right? Just a little bit of, oh, you get caught out in a side lane. Guess what? Everyone does that. Oh, your mid game isn't fantastic. That could be improved on. They've got the tools here early on. They've shown it. The things that you can't really coach, it seems like Liberty have it right now. As Vivocade, they do chew through that vision. And our first of the Dragon, TP coming out of Chiari. And he might not be seen here. Curtain call goes out. Now they know he's there. Flashing in. Gets a big old counter strike. So much CC going down. Vivo K-Stars can do absolutely nothing. Gigo trying to do maybe something when he can. Gigo trying to take down Chiari, going all out, bumping him over the wall. But right now, it's a 1-for-1 so far here. Gigo finally going to go down. Is he going to take Chiari down with him? No. But Juliera able to pick up the kill. They do not get the Dragon. More importantly, they are able to mop Vivocade off the map.
And Liberty, another beautiful engage into the back. It was Piloto with the shockwave. They might try to end here. No carries on the map for 20 seconds. They have a bit of a wave. Chiari diving in.
Goes in and Ugato freezes him up for a little bit, but Chiari getting so much value from the shielding from Cavallo, just beefing up the carry here. This is what we were talking about. Despite the mid-game mistakes occasionally from Chiari and the miscues in the mid-game around him for Liberty, the Libertines make mincemeat of a Nexus Tower and are looking to do the same thing to Vivocade. Mikau eaten for breakfast here. The tether goes off. Curtain call finally able to grab a kill, but Chiari does die for it. They're just playing with their food at this point. A very good game here from Liberty. Again, was it flawless? No. Did Vivocade have their moments to come back into it? Yes. But for the most part,